Hello boys, Cool Yoshi here, and you're probably wondering, I've already finished Super Mario 3D World. What am I doing here? Well, obviously, the first obvious thing is that I have crown rights, but that's not the thing that I'm telling you. Hello guys, Cool Yoshi here, and welcome back to my bonus episode for my Super Mario 3D World 100% walkthrough. And today I'm going to show you both the 4-player trick and a confirmed gameplay of me finishing every level in this game with 5 characters. And I'll show you a neat trick that allows you to do it way faster. I'll be explaining all of the levels here too, because there are a couple that function a little bit differently that I need to tell you about. So we'll start in 1-1, and the actual strategy for it is straightforward, and there's also a lot of variants that I'll explain later. You'll get to see almost all of them but one, but I'll explain later. For starters, you want to have 4 controllers plugged in, and in this case I have 3 full sets of the Switch controllers, which are the tiny ones, you know, where you hold it on the side. Basically, the controller that I used for Super Mario Party, because you can only use that there. You basically want to go to the end of the screen, then on your second controllers, you want to press the R1 button twice to join, and then select a character that hasn't already beaten the level. Since everyone other than Luigi has not beaten the level, I just select all of the other characters, and then what you want to do is, once they're all on screen, you pop their bubbles one by one, like this. Afterwards, you move the first one close, and then with your second character, I'm going to use Mario in this case, you jump to the light, and then you do this. Jump left, jump right with the 2 characters. You essentially move them both onto the flagpole, and the character you grab and the character that uses, they should both automatically stick to the flagpole if done correctly. And once this happens, just like that, you have beaten the level with all 4 characters without even having to do that. Now, there are quite a few alterations you can do depending on what level you do. For starters, let's tell you what to do in the charging chuck blockade. Obviously, these things are a little bit quick. While you could respawn characters in there, it's actually pretty slow to do so I'm showing you what you should do. If you want to do any of the blockades, then you basically want to do this. Enter a level with all 4 characters, and then just do it as fast as possible. You may have some characters take damage like that, but that's okay. Speaking of which, I do want to keep my power-ups, so I'll try again, and I think I'll just use this strat to make it simpler. Okay, or just that makes it more sense. But yeah, you just defeat them and grab the star, and it's easy as that. As long as all 4 characters are present, they'll all get credit. That's actually the simplest one. It does, of course, have an unfortunate annoyance that they may take damage, but yeah. And now that that's done, let's show the alteration for the mystery houses, which is the last alteration I'll be showing you. The mystery houses are quite a bit different, so I'm going to show you the optimal strategy for the mirror house, but there is a different strategy as well. To do that strategy, you basically have to remove all of the characters from your game, which you could do by just pressing plus on each of them and having them quit out, which I'll show you later. And then you can basically play through every star but the last one. You have to count which one's which, and then once you reach the last star, you essentially want to go in and defeat the characters using that, and then once you've spawned in all 3 characters, you pop their bubbles, and then you collect the last star to finish it, which will trigger this stuff. That's what you should do for Mystery House Marathon in particular. And if you haven't played the level yet, you can also combine it with the Fats, where if you have 4 characters from before, you can spawn them in during the level. So there's quite a few techs you could do. I'm going to show the alteration, which is you just have all 3 of them in, all 4 of them in, and then just finish the level with 1 character. This obviously have its own problems, because you can lose lives here, but as you can see, I have crown lives, so I don't have to worry about dying. So yeah, they will probably lose some lives in some of these spots, but as long as you get through the level, it's fine. As long as your main character survives, the others don't really need to survive. It's really just going through all this as best as possible, and that's it. Beyond this, this is essentially identical to how you play a normal Mystery House, just with 3 other characters watching you do it the entire time. All the fast strategies still lurk. And yeah, and just like that, all 4 players have received credit. That one does have a couple more problems because the characters will take damage, but there's other stuff. Okay, now that that's done, let's show the other alteration that many people have probably done, where if the level's easy enough, you can just insert the 4 characters in from the beginning, and then just have them follow you via bubbles for the entire stage. If you're quick enough, you can actually do this without losing any lives on them. On some of the harder levels, you will lose lives on them, but yeah. Obviously, I don't want to necessarily do that, since I will be facing Great Tower Bowser Land next, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to make them all disappear one by one, which you just, yes, plus or minus, depending on which controller you're using, and then select regain to make them disappear, and then you can play the level by yourself, and then once you reach the flagpole, you can go back to that again. And with that in mind, we are basically done with this, so we're just gonna finish the game now and hope for the best. If you remember in the last playthrough, we had some problems with this level, so we're gonna play a little bit safe, but also quick enough to where we can hopefully redeem ourselves a little bit, because, like, I'd like to beat this without taking any damage if possible, and if I take damage at the end, it's fine. Also, that's a very bad start. Keep in mind, I am out of practice in a lot of these levels. Oh, jeez. That thing nearly sent me into the same fireball again. Now, all of these are on strict cycles, so if you know where you're going, you will be able to avoid them. The problem is getting to the thing after that. Now, because I'm slow, I don't think I'll make the cycle that I want, but... okay, well, at the very least I did that. That's still pretty good. I think a sign is getting to this on like 450 means it's a good run. But yeah. Well, with that in mind, we are heading to the final boss battle again, and since we did not get to do it well the last time, we're gonna start by having Bowser actually come in. So once again, we are going to say hi to Meowser. He's going to start as Bowser, but then he's gonna activate his own cat bell power-up to become Meowser. There we go. Meowser Part 2. Now, I've learned quite a few things about this fight. For one, where Bowser appears is the exact same every time. He always starts on the right side like this and climbs up to the left. Then he appears on the left moments later. This part is pretty much as simple as you basically want to go to the opposite side that he's standing on, and you should be able to avoid him every single time. Beyond that, there are quite a few ways to actually go up the tower. The easiest, and the way I'm doing right now, is to jump on the cloud platforms and also use the cat suit to skip as many spots as possible. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get through all the stuff right away, so we will have to wait a little bit. If you are going to do this, make sure you wait until the entire thing to go through other stuff. Alright. Now, I am moving off screen right now, and I'm not sure if this will actually work, but if it works, we can do a skip where we can just get to him right there, and he won't actually fire anything, which is really cool. And now we're gonna trigger him to do his power-up, and this is where it normally becomes a little bit more annoying. Because again, he's gonna split into the cones, but it's not actually as hard So for the second part, there's a little spot hidden to the left of this level, I believe, where if you go just close enough, you should avoid every single enemy, including the Bowsers that appear. This is normally supposed to be a lot more difficult than this, but there is a way to skip all of this. And I'm gonna actually start a big skip now, which involves getting onto this platform. Then after you see the platform, you basically want to just keep on climbing upwards non-stop. I have a safety version where I basically do this, and you basically want to jump twice. And yeah, as you can see, we beat that section a little bit earlier than what we are intending to go through. And then we could do the same thing for this section, and from there, yeah, that lets us beat the level a little bit sooner. There's another trick that we can do as well, but it is much more difficult, so I prefer to wait until about this time, and then we jump up, hold to the left, and we can pow them kind of early. And they don't even get a chance to attack us back. So yeah. When you try and do that level normally, especially without power-ups, it becomes more difficult. But when done this way, it's, like I mentioned, one of the easiest Final Bowser battles ever. I kind of wish it would be a little bit more easier. Now, we did take a couple of tries, but at the very least, we didn't die, which is the good part. To make it a little bit simpler, we're gonna start by trying to put in our characters right as we get to the next spot. So, we're gonna start by putting in Mario, Rosalina, and Toad. There we go. And now they're gonna come with us to the final pipe. And we're gonna try and carry them one by one. Oh, and yes, the fairies are here again. They are kind of blocking our way, though, so it might take a little while to get through this. By the way, we have to go for this entire cutscene again if we fail this, so let's hope that we could actually do this. Okay, we got it. That's the last part done, and that's what I was hoping I could get. And there we go. And with that, we have actually 100%ed the game now. And again, I timed this so that I can also get the credits with this, because if you do this a little bit too soon, you'll have to wait for the credits to finish. In this case, we can simply play for the credits. That being said, though, we can skip the credits in this game, which I'll show you. Yeah, you can skip them, but I don't want to do that, because, yeah. And for those of you who haven't seen this playthrough, it is one of the trickier playthroughs, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely could have done better on it, but overall, it's definitely a lot more challenging than Bowser's Fury, that's for sure. Pretty crazy, actually. Most of the game's difficulty comes from its secret worlds. That's where I died the most. But there's also random difficulty curves within it. Rather than having one world that's particularly difficult, there's random hard levels just scattered everywhere. Like, I think the first really hard level is Chain Link Charge. That level, I saw a different person try and play through it. He was with a friend, and they game overed on it quite a few times. No offense, but yeah. To be fair, that's one of the harder levels. And that same person also game overed twice on 4-2. You know, the Piranha Plant level, the poison one. The one that I absolutely hate. That was the easy version, by the way. Of course, that being said, the harder version of it is probably one of the hardest levels to 100%, because again, you have to play for the entire level, essentially, if you're playing on a speedrun, without taking any damage, while having the Fire Flower, since you want to keep your cat suit as well. Making it arguably the hardest level to beat if you were doing the 380 stars category. Which is pretty interesting. But yeah, Other than that, though, Champions Road and I believe one other level, I forget its name. Champions Road was probably far the most difficult level. Right, but there we go. We have finished the game. What's really interesting is if you finish the game with Rosalina, the game still acknowledges that the main four have finished the game for some reason. So, yeah, Rosalina doesn't appear. Okay, so now we're going to get all of our new stamps for clearing all of the courses as those characters. Our clear time's gonna come up. And for some reason, that's gonna happen as well. And now we need to check to make sure. It's kind of interesting that it does it like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna actually check this to make sure that we've 100%ed it. And we do that by heading to the map and first going to this. So each mode that's 100% will have a pawn on it. So that's what we're looking for. So, as you can see, all of them have paws on them, which means they've been 100%, and our stamp collection is fully complete. So now you get to see the portraits. Those are basically the portraits of all 5 characters, or the rest of the stamps we're missing. But as you can see, we've completed our entire stamp collection and also collected all 380 green stars, which confirms 100% completion. And with that, the game is officially 100%ed. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this full walkthrough. Sorry if the ending was a little bit boring, but it definitely should have helped you out quite a bit, hopefully. Beyond that, though, leave a like if you guys enjoyed, cut right to Sky, but I'll see you in the next video where I'll probably try and find another Mario game to play through since I finished this one. So I'll probably just try and find a game that I haven't played yet, just so that I can have more games to look up. Until then, though, leave a like if you enjoyed, cut right to Sky, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.